Hello everyone, welcome to the new Talis product update for October 2024. We'll just give it a minute and then we'll start the session. So I'm just going to start the session. I'm Juan Veloso-Horgan, I'm the Talis Marketing Manager, and let me just get the housekeeping out of the way. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat or the Q&A box, and then we'll read them as we go through the session. Unfortunately, we have no cake today, but I am joined by Scott Gibbons, our Head of Product in Talis, Georgia Perez, is that right, Georgia?
Yes.
Our Product Manager.
Thank you.
Talis, and Lisa Spanfeld Winter, our Junior Product Manager. In today's session, we'll be looking at what we've recently released. So that'll be the bookmarking extension. Then we'll be looking at some upcoming work, including the Talis Reader, the bookmarking redesign and resource types, and some tagging. Then we'll be looking at the roadmap for the rest of the year and going over your questions. So without further ado, over to you, Scott.
Great. So just a quick update on this, the bookmarking extension. If you go to the next slide, please. So the bookmarking extension has been released now for the main browsers, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. They've all been extensions. They're now all in the app stores. The upgrade process for those that have got the extension already installed should be pain-free or just update on a rolling schedule. You will notice the icon change to the new extension, but that's really the only visible change people should notice. So it should be really seamless and straightforward. Any problems, obviously, with the update process, please do contact the support desk. We'll be able to help you. The reason we had to do this extension is rewritten to abide by new web security rules. So this means it should scrape some sites that we were blocked from before, like YouTube. So the new code allows that to work, but it should successfully scrape all the old sites supported as well. Any sites that that are not working properly, just report them in to the help desk, and no way on support ticket, and we'll get on it as soon as possible. We've had a couple of ones reported so far, and we're just working on fixing those, but it usually is a pretty quick turnaround. That's all there is in the extension. It's just making sure that you've got that information, and there has been an update on the support site about that. We'll just move on to Georgia.
Thank you very much, Scott. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of the next upcoming bits of work that we are currently planning and starting to do some development on, which is the project we've named the Talis Reader. Next slide, please. So the Talis Reader essentially is the project name for where we're going to be bringing Aspire into the teaching and learning space by allowing file uploads such as EPUBs, videos and Microsoft documents to items you've added to your reading list with the option to copyright check those work-throughs through TADC, and also be able to include personal note-taking of those document types in an e-reader, and also class commenting and social annotation will be available as well. What that means is for your cohort that have access to your lists, they'll be able to go into that reading list item document that you've uploaded, and they'll be able to add comments. They'll be able to see each other's comments. They'll be able to add anonymous comments. So participate asynchronously as well as with a group in live on a document to help with their study, as well as creating their own personal notes. And all of that will be accessible within the reading list. So it's very exciting. We kind of want to put the power in the academics' hands to be able to decide if, when they upload one of these resource types, they would like to be able to turn on downloading or not for these resources, and also to turn class commenting on or off, because we know that sometimes we do want to be able to everyone to comment and, you know, give everyone else their views on their different document types, but sometimes just to be able to have their own personal note-taking experience for your document types. As I mentioned before, different file types will be able to be uploaded. We're hoping to bring to you things like video, audio files, and lots of different resources that so far you wouldn't have been able to upload into your reading list, which is very, very exciting. All of these will be subject, if the option is selected, to a copyright check. So as you know, we link in with the CLA, Copyright Licensing Agency, CCC, and some others. And the academic can choose whether they would like to put their document they've uploaded through to copyright clearance or not, or the library can choose to enforce copyright check of all uploaded items, which is very exciting. And that workflow will go through TADC with the usual digitization workflow, as you know. It would also work to go through that area as well. So also something that you would have been familiar with before as well. When it comes to the reader itself, an e-reader, you'll have lots of different features depending on the type of file types that you've uploaded. For example, EPUBs for their accessibility are reflowable, so you'll be able to have that. Also, enhanced search functionality, as well as highlighting and pin dropping on different areas to make notes. Now, we're hoping to bring this to you in Q1, and this will be behind a feature flag. So you'll be able to turn this feature on or off. So if this is something that you are not sure you're ready to roll out in your library yet, or you'd like a little bit of a trial period, you'll be able to do that at your leisure, which will be very exciting come in the new year. We'd also like to get some feedback from you guys as we include this, so that we know how to build on this next. This is an initial phase, so we hope in the future to build on this as well. Next slide, please, Juan.
There is one question, Georgia, from Philip Davis, just saying Talis Reader seems to have some of the functionality of Talis Elevate. What's the difference between the two?
So we certainly will be using our Talis Elevate functionality to help with our e-reader. It's a fantastic thing, so we're happy to use that functionality here. But Talis Elevate still holds Module Manager and all of that good stuff that you know and love in Talis Elevate. That will not be within our Talis Aspire product. So there are some differences there on how those are managed. It's an individual upload basis rather than creating modules and a selection as you would in Elevate. Next slide, please, Juan. I do have a question. So we are still in the planning and building phases, the initial build phases. And as you know, with our Talis Aspire product, we copyright check and can clear certain resource types, such as books, journal articles, and some music scores. So what would be really helpful for us is, as we're going forward with adding new file types that you can upload to resource types, we want to know from you guys, how do you copyright check resources in your library that are different file types? For example, videos, audio files, Microsoft documents. Do you do this through an agency? Do you have a librarian discretion where you use some fair use? Or is there any other way that you can copyright clear these particular resources? You can drop that in the chat if you know this answer, or you can email me. This will be really helpful for us when we go forward to building and providing copyright checking for different kinds of resource types. And it's also helpful to know if you can't copyright check those or what you do to work around that. So yeah, if you could drop those in the chat or email me, we want to know from every territory. So we are, talking to all of our different customers across New Zealand, Australia, Canada, as well as the UK and EU. So please do let us know, as we know copyright varies throughout the different regions. And on that, that's it from me and the Talis Reader for so far. Thank you so much. I'll pass it over to Scott.
Thanks. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of me today because Kate's not able to make it today. So bear with me. We'll have a quick chat about the British Library EHIS email. As you may recall, the British Library Document Supply Centre, the British Library had a cyber attack last year, which took down most of their services, including the EHIS system. So those of you that use TADC will know you can order items directly from the British Library. And we had this nice integration. It was all run by lots of stuff in the background, all talked nicely, and then British Library cyber attacked and it stopped working. Earlier this year, we had a discussion with British Library. They were setting up the service again more formally as an email service. So we've redone the work in the TADC part of Talis Aspire, so that you can actually do all that, send an email from an Aspire. So you've got all the workflows that you had before. So you've got this, and it's all controlled by email in the end. So very quick view there in the team settings, just enable the BL copyright fee ordering and scanning, enter your BL email address. And if you have the next one, please, Juan. And this is all on the guides as well. So you can now, sorry, 1 second. So you can now view the requests, you can select the source request, you can confirm all the details, as you can see on the modal there, it's got all those details. And the note to BL, and all this will be included on the email to the British Library. So they get effectively all the information that's on that modal in a nice email formatted the way they want it. And the next slide, please, Juan. So this will all come back in to your email address. So all the confirmation of this information and importantly, the actual document itself will be emailed back to you. It won't come in to TADC like it did before. So you would need to go in and update that if you wanted to keep your records up to date. So you'll be able to go in, view the request, select actions, and update link to existing orders. So that's the only bit we can't automate because it's all via email now. But essentially, the process is there replicated just to try and make it easier for you rather than having to go to a separate place to send those emails. It should carry all the process through apart from the final update where it comes back from the British Library. We'll keep in touch with the British Library. We've got good contacts there. So if they do reinstate the more automated system, then we'll revert to that if and when we can. But they're in quite a long, tough time rebuilding all our systems. So this is a good, probably last for at least a year, this interim system. I see there's lots of questions or lots of comments coming up, but I think these are around your copyright thing, Georgia. So if you see anything pop up on anything I'm talking about, just jump in.
I will do, thank you.
So another quick update. Next slide, please. One is about mandatory importances. So if you go on to the next slide, we talked about this back in August. And in August, we were talking about this, what we call an option to remind academics. So it's trying to encourage them to use the mandatory importance setup. Now, this is something you switch on or switch off. It's not mandatory for libraries to use this. But when we're talking about it, there's quite a split opinion. Some people didn't want it to be a default. So if you add resource, we were suggesting there would be a default. Quite a lot of people said they didn't want a default. 3 people said they wanted the lowest. 1 set their own, 1 the middle option, no one wanted the highest. So we went back to the drawing board a little bit with this and decided to use a no default option. So if you go to the next slide, one. So you can see here, you get when importance option set to remind, For adding new items to a list, the academic has to choose an importance, but we're not going to put an importance in that box as default. It's blank. So if they don't change that to importance, they'll get a little as you can see from the orange snake indicator, the green snake indicating, please fill in the box there. So they will be reminded they have to do that before they can continue. So they've been forced to do that, and that alert will appear if they're in My Bookmarks Add to List, or if they're using a bookmarking form, create an Add to List. So that's to enforce importance at those stages. And again, doesn't show you the one, obviously we're not pre-selecting it, but you are forced to then go and select it with that reminder. So that's a change we've done for that for you, and that's available for people to if you want that to use that, that's available for you to use now. And discovery integration improvements. So the next slide, please, Juan. If you've already got your discovery integration set up, we noticed there was a little bit of discrepancy between what you're getting from the discovery integration from within Talis, and if you're using the extension on your discovery resource, you're getting slightly different details. So what we've done is we've gone back, had a look through the details in Primo, WorldCat, and EDS, and Summon. And in Primo, we've now added additional authors, edition, volume, and place of publication that were missing before. So now if you're using discovery integration, you'll see those additional fields are captured in the record. In WorldCat, the additional information we could capture was edition, so that is now captured. But unfortunately for EDS, there's no improvements currently available from EBSCO's EDS API, so there's nothing else we can capture through the integration we use with EBSCO, but we will keep checking back with this and with in communication with EBSCO about what else they can offer. We're also looking at Primo VE to improve the online resource handling for search results when not OpenURL compatible. And that's probably come through as part of our bookmarking work as well. And in Summon, a number of fields were identified as being provided by the Summon API that we're going to look to include. These include book, journal, and article metadata. So it's across the board, mostly things like place of publication, edition, etc. We've just identified those. I saw an update this morning. So they've not been done yet, but we've identified what those fields there are. Any questions coming through? Let's have a quick look. Philip Adams, do you have any, have to change any settings to use a default option? No, you don't have to change any settings. That will be the standard, no default. Primo discovery integration by additional authors, does this include editors? I don't know, Jill. I will make a note of that and we'll report back. I'm not 100% sure what additional information authors includes, but we'll certainly can check on that for you. Right, carry on one, please. So you may have heard we're working on improving the bookmarking process at the moment. There's a number of things in bookmarking we want to improve. The screens to make those easier to use, and the magic behind what's going on when we pre-select URLs for people, because sometimes those aren't the URLs that they actually want to link to. So we've looked at the ideas portal, we've had meetings and discussions with people and support calls, and we sat down with the operations team, developers, UX and product. And what we want to essentially do is provide a quick and easy way for academics to create the right bookmarks suitable to your environment. And hopefully by doing that, we'll reduce the time and effort needed by you to correct bookmarks, to help users who can't click through to whatever's been selected. So that's what we're aiming to do. That's what we've been working on. What we are going to do, I say the work's just started on this. Some of the work you've seen with the improvement with discovery integration, that's all part of this big bookmarking theme. But what we want to do is make this available for you behind the feature flag so that you can test this, you can look at it, and we are not going to force a release on anyone in the immediate future. When this is available, we'll do some user testing and we'll put a call out for that. And then we'll put this around a feature flag, so you can carry on using the old bookmarking markup screen. But if you are ready and you think, I'm ready to change to a new bookmarking screen, you can then switch that over, or let us know, we'll switch that over for you. So it won't be a bit like happened with the old branding, where eventually we switched onto a new branding screen. Be a similar approach to that. You have the old bookmarking screen for a good period of time before we phase it out. So you'll be able to release it to your customers, your users, exactly when you want. And we're looking forward to getting on to user testing with that. Probably going to be early next year before we get on some user testing for that. Next one, please. And we're over to Lisa to talk a little bit about what the work on resource types.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I have two very small things to say here. First of all, thank you so much for your input. I talked earlier already about earlier webinars about these resource types and that it's coming up. And we've been looking through a lot of feedback in different media. There's been in AHA. We had a survey with both librarians and academics using Aspire. And then following that, I had some really insightful discussions with both in correspondence and with calls. So thank you so much for your generous time there. We've put together all the insights we got there and all the learnings, and we are now moving forward with some development work on adding some more resource types and some additional fields. I can't promise anything right now, but we are experimenting currently with reports, objects, database, and newspaper as new resource types. And we're also adding these more fields similar to pages or publishers or so on that you can click out extra. For example, format and court and such that we need either to support the new resource types or to better cater for those that we weren't adding, that we've got suggestions from our input about. So we really hope that this is going to be a really cool improvement. We hope that it will make it easier and more accurate when you bookmark items that maybe aren't a book or an article, so that you can catch all the relevant metadata, both for referencing and for reviews. We know that a lot of the hopes for new resource types were also bound to needs for reporting in different ways. So we hope that this will add to that. And also the pedagogical part of it, of communicating to students how to work with these resources and what's expected from them, and also helping to some degree on how to cite resources. So this will be part of the bookmarking theme that Scott already mentioned. So the time horizon here, we are looking for end of the year or next year. And do you give the next slide, please, Juan? So the other thing is we're also doing a discovery on tagging. You might already have seen that this was, there came an email campaign for those who have signed up to get those. And we've already started scheduling in and even having a few calls. So that's super exciting. And if you want to join, please do send me an email and we'll see if we can schedule something up. This is about tagging and whether we would be adding this to a system like tagging into Aspire and how it would work, what would be beneficial for you. We've had quite a lot of suggestions and asks about being able to somehow flag or label items in reading lists to either highlight information or how to read it, or perhaps something about the resource itself to students, and also on different needs for reporting on things in the lists that aren't currently possible to do. So if you have any questions about this, if you want to learn more about it, if you think this is a great idea and you want to talk more about why you think it's a great idea, please reach out. And if you think this is a terrible idea, also do reach out, because we want to get as much input on it as possible, because we want to make a easy, very working solution for all. And I will pass it over to Scott.
Thank you. Just to round up, a quick look at what's coming up in the roadmap for the next 9 to 12 months. So next up is the resource types that Lisa's just talked about. We also have the Talis Reader NGC at the beginning of next year that Georgia's outlined details of, and the bookmarking work that will be early next year as well. For 2025, we've got a number of things planned. These aren't in any particular order, and there'll probably be some more things that we'll slot in here, but we're trying to make sure we can do at least the minimum. So LTI work, we've had quite a lot of requests about improving the way we handle LTI, looking at improving the rollover for some institutions that are having problems with the rollover, and also looking at how people authorize using LTI. So those are things we've been talking about improving. Analytics, we've had a lot of feedback on list analytics, and we're definitely looking to get stuck into some list analytics and making those available as part of a bigger analytics program the year after, but certainly getting some good startings there, and also looking at improving the advanced MIS for those that you have got that, to make sure everything you need is in advanced MIS. We will be looking at improving and starting with some good OER integration. At the moment, we do have this, when you bookmark, you can turn on an OA integration. It tells you your OA item is available. But we're looking at really improving the Add Resource screen, so you can search for OER items and OA items directly from within Aspire. So you don't have to go somewhere else and find it. You can search those items alongside Discovery integration, your Nielsen book data, and your My Bookmarks. And part of the development of that will be allowing people, if they want the Nielsen book data and Discovery, which I'm going to do so now, bringing that back in so people can have both of those. Or those of you that have got 2 Discovery engines, I know there's a couple of people that got that, you had to link in both of those. So this is to improve the range of sort of searching and resources from within Aspire. And finally, tagging, and we don't know what form that's going to take yet, which Lisa's doing the investigation, but we've had quite a lot of requests for this. So it's something that we will look into. It may be that it's something that we do an early phase of and do a later phase. That's all to be determined from what Lisa does from a Discovery, which will stretch on for about next month. And the probably work won't start on this until, I can't imagine it starting before the summer next year. So those are our things that are definitely in plan. I'm meeting with the product team. We've met with all the staff from operations and sales over the last few weeks to find out what customers have been asking them for, as well as looking at ideas log. And we'll be meeting in a couple of weeks to go through and decide the shape of the roadmap and what's coming out when, which we'll be able to share with you a bit more later in the year or early next year. I think that's everything for today. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them in the webinar chat. Thanks to everyone that's fed back on the copyright as well there. I think that'll be very helpful for Georgia. As always, if you think of questions after the meeting, you can always email us or put things in the ideas log, which we do look at every week and feedback to you on.
Scott, we just got
Yes.
a comment regarding the extension and about Edge being one of the chosen browsers for the extension.
Okay. Great. I can see a couple of comments now. Yep. Philip saying it's IT favorite browser, and Niall as well. So thanks for that. I'll feed that back to our team that work on the browser extensions to make them aware of that. Okay. I think that's everything. I'll feed back on the Edge. We'll let's push that too. It looks like you've got a few universities there recommending Edge, so that's absolutely fine. Gives us some good guidance on what to do on that. Thanks everyone. Have a good rest of the day, and I don't know if you've got anything to round off with, Juan. I think you send out the details by email, don't you, after this meeting?
Yeah, we sent an email, and also, well, through the newsletter, we sent a roundup.
Okay. Great. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.